Hey guys, welcome back to DMAT Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Area 51. Power steering reservoir. Got to relocate that now as well. So let's get at it. Alrighty, so in the last go round we got the 4150 style intake on with the Aeroflow throttle body and air cleaner caddy style jobby, and I've been pondering what to do with this, because I don't know if you remember way back when this used to be mounted up off that driver's side head, but then we relocated the motor and had to relocate the alternator, and of course now that can't go where it was going to go. So I have a bit of a plan, hopefully, that we're going to end up relocating that down into about here, and that'll just give us a short run for the feed pipe and relatively short runs down there to the return and whatnot up to here. Hopefully I've got enough materials to do it. So what I'm thinking is if I can attach this bracket to the washer bottle bracket, which was going to be the radiator overflow tank bracket. That's another battle, and I've got another idea for the radiator overflow. It doesn't, because it kind of got complex in that I didn't really like it there. It was going to have a big long hose running across and all that kind of stuff, so I've got another idea for doing something for that. Noisy birds today. So this is my plan, is to get this down here somehow. Not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to have to take all this back off the car, but before I do that I'm going to kind of work out where I want it to sit and leave enough room under there that I can hopefully drill that out and put the washer pump in where that spigot is, that thing there. Okay, to start with, I had an idea if I do this, figure out where my placement's going to go. I can use this as a, to be able to draw on here without drawing on the aluminium. I've got a genuine feed hose. It's a Holden one. I was having trouble finding out what type of hose to use for this. So I found this Holden VE feed hose. Anyway, so that's going to go on there. If it was going in the factory location, that would have been perfect, but it's not. So it's going to end up going down in there, around about there. So what I want to do is work out roughly, if I get that to fit out there, could even come back to about there. Yeah, like that. Now I just have to kind of take all of this off and work out where this bracket's going to land in relation to all of that, and I want to create a little bit of a space between them, not much, probably doesn't need to be any space between them, but maybe a little bit. Take this off. Okay, so this is my plan. Hopefully it all kind of pans out, otherwise I'm going to have to make all new brackets and stuff like that. I want to utilise this because I've already got the stuff kind of through the inner fender, and I've got bracing and stuff behind there to kind of support the weight. There's a video somewhere. But what I'm thinking is attaching this to that. I might have to kind of put a little slither. I have to cut this gusset and everything off, and I'll probably put another kind of gusset in there just to give it strength somewhere, probably through there, through the middle, just to kind of support it. And then cutting this off and flushing out that weld there, so I can put my squirter pump in there. Now I know it won't feed from the very bottom of the tank, but it doesn't really matter as long as there's, you know, you keep it topped off, it'll be fine. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I guess to start with, I'll have to kind of maybe take this apart, cut off what I don't want to keep on here for now, and strip back some paint and figure out what I'm gonna kind of use to, you know, attach these two thingy bobs together, and whether I want it kind of sitting on it close like that, or, you know, space it away ever so slightly. I'm kind of leaning towards spacing it away. It does make it a bit more tricky to kind of get in and clean things, but that way they're not kind of like frictioning on each other if there is play in it and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at. That's the plan. So I'm going to pull all this apart, strip some paint back, cut some stuff off, and then we'll put it all back together. Okay, so my lens is cracked on my screen protector. Before I pull it all apart completely, I'm going to actually work out my little template. So it's going to sit about there, nice and square. I've got to fill, like, bridge this gap here into there. So essentially I can just maybe weld a little wedge into that. I'll cut a piece of that little cardboard template now so I know what I need, and then put that aside, so once we strip the paint off I can kind of cut that template and we can kind of maybe tack it together and see how it looks. Okay, so I'm just going to make some measurements. So I'm going to go 77 from that edge there, so go 77. That's where I want my little piece to start. So once I've cleaned all this shit off, I'll kind of know roughly where I'm going back to. That goes there to there. So roll on that. So that's my tiny little slither, that thing there. How is that gonna, how easy is that gonna be to do? Probably not terribly, but I'll probably cut something a bit oversized, weld it on, and then trim it down, and then weld it all together. So I'll probably go something like that. And that'll go on there. I'll have to weld it from there up. And then that'll kind of square it off, and then weld that on. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like that ish eventually. It's a bit Mickey Mouse, but it'll be alright. Okay, so mark the line when I had the reservoir on there. That's where I'm going to cut this off, and then I'll have to liberate the angle bracket and stuff like that from there, and then I'll set about kind of prepping up the steel for kind of welding bits and pieces on. So let's get cutting. Alright, so measure 77 to there, and that's where my extension's got to start, just like there. Something I hadn't actually thought about, I thought I'd made this out of thicker stock, but this is just like 1mm sheet steel, whereas this bracket is 2.5mm. millimeters, I should say. So I'm wondering whether I, where does this go? Oh, that way. My little template. So it's going to go about there-ish. I'm actually starting to second guess just welding this on now as far as strength goes. We're going to have a bit of downward on there unless I do a triangulate it right to that edge, which should be fine, or whether I actually do something more substantial right across to cover up my little speed holes. Not that that's a big deal, but as I was saying, that's going to sit about there where my little template goes. I'm just second guessing how I kind of actually go about this now, whether I just do that little extension or whether I kind of do a bigger piece, kind of weld something more substantial onto this whole area, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but then I'll have those holes on the back side and it'll look a bit rude, but then you won't see them from the back side. I don't know. If I triangulate that right to the bottom, that should be plenty, I would have thought. You'd think, eh? And then I'll put the support right across that bottom edge and down the side as well. Should be alright, I reckon. If it cracks and breaks, then we can take it off and do it again. Okay, so been rummaging through the scrap drawer and found a little piece of the same gauge steel that I used on this, which is almost kind of the right angle. What I'm thinking is actually leaving a little bit more on it and lapping it into there rather than butt welding it. So we'll give that a shot. That's the washing machine, by the way. So I'll cut that down and then see where it goes. In theory it should, I might need a little bit more length on it, yeah, something like that. So I'll just cut that off, clean it up and see how that kind of lands. Okay, so this is my revised thinking. Is that it'll land about there, and then that'll land about there, and I'll weld all the way across there. I'll still put a gusset in there. That's the washing machine, and I'll have to, you know what I'm saying. Like I'll have to. What was I going to say? Yeah, just make a step in the gusset to get it to run through. But I was just kind of second guessing. If I weld it around there and then across the top edge, I reckon it might actually be better. So what I've got to do is make sure I get this the right way around. That way to that way. So I've got to weld that onto there, like so. Put a mark on there. So out. In, so I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to bevel that edge there, so I've got a little bit of something to weld into, and we'll get that on and then we'll figure out the rest from there. I'll just tack it to start with, I think. Alright, so I'm going to get a little couple of tacks on here and hopefully clean tungsten, clean steel, and then we'll have a look and see whether it all kind of fits in that. Helmet switched on. Oh, whoops. What's that sitting at? Yeah, should be about right. Not so clean tungsten. Arc was shooting off to the side, but you're right for a couple of tacks. Get it? I missed. Okay, got it that time. Swoosh. Is that right? We'll have a look. I think that's square. It's hard to tell when there's you know, it's so little. So that is going to go on there. I wonder if I need to kind of put this kind of back together a bit. I think go there. Put a screw in there. Confirm that it's located in the proper place. You know what I'm saying? That goes like that. That goes like that. Actually, I wonder if I should just tack that into place as it sits. I'll leave my got a metal under there. Forgot that. Oh, that bit of metal is actually it's actually too much. A little bit of 8. Yeah, that's better. That's going to sit right about there. I wonder if I should, yeah, like I say, tack that into place. And I'll weld the rest of it. Should be able to. Yeah, I better tack it into place. Alright, let's get a couple of wee tacks on that bit and just see what it looks like. Might be right, I reckon. Don't want to do too much welding while this aluminium's in there because it'll mark it and stuff, I think. Just have a quick gaze at this just to see how it's all going to land. It's going to go about there. Why does that look crooked? I think that's alright. This spigot actually looks crooked coming out of there, but that's okay, it's pointing in the right direction. If you look down on the top of that, it could be like what, I think that actually that weld and bung is kind of slightly on the piss, but that's alright. I'm not going to concern myself about it. So that, I think, should work out okay. Choice. Okay, right, back to the bench. Take all these bits back out and set about doing a bit more welding on here. So yeah, let's do it. Come out of there. The old Allen key. So that disassembled. There's stuff in there again. Maybe I'll figure out how this comes out. Oh, there's a thing. I can't lift that out. Well, that's on there. I didn't even think about that. How about that? Now I'm going to have to try and cut that off. It's got to get cut off anyway, but who would have thunk it? What's the best way to do that? Just get in here with a zipping disc and frag that thing. Yep, I reckon so. Didn't even think of that. Right. Sorted. Best way to weld that. Oh yeah, you can still weld across there. And you can weld through there. Right. So sharpen my tungsten properly this time and get into some welding. Okay, so that's that welded. It's not, yeah, kind of, it is what it is. It was not my best. Definitely not on the inside. That was kind of tricky to get to, so I really sort of struggled. But I should be able to kind of clean that up enough that it'll paint up alright. But you're not, because you're not going to even really, even be able to see that. It's going to be in between those two reservoirs. So I'm just going to let that cool off, go and have a coffee, and then I'll start cutting up my gusset to give that a little bit of downward strength on the side of it. So let that cool up. Alrighty, so I've given that a bit of a clean up. That's as cleaned up as it's going to get. As I said earlier, you won't see it. So what I've got to do now is put a brace in here. There's a little bit of a dip in the end of that, but I want to put a angle brace in probably about there. I'm just going to have to kind of notch it out to fit over that step there, and yeah, I wonder if I should square that up first. Actually, I will, and I'll check that this is nice and square, and then as long as I can get that square to there and there, then it should be all square. You know what I'm saying? So where is my speed square? Pen. I'm just going to square that up. Yeah, so just take it down to that line, and that should be us good. So it's going to go right about there. That's a perfect size. It goes right down to that edge. So I need to mark. It's still hot, so I need my gloves on. I'm going to go right about there, so I need to start notching out from there. Take that much out of it. See? You see that? Okay, so that's where I'll start. Take some of that out. Scratch the paint. A line to weld it onto to get it kind of straight up and down. Doesn't matter too much, I guess, but sort of in between those two speed holes, right about there, I reckon. Just check my square again. She's squared there. When I put it on, actually I need to check. I think that's about right. It's not hard to tell. Someone put a big hunk of metal there. Oh yeah. It's looking pretty good now. I think that's alright. It's hard to tell though. There is a bit of flex in that side, so hopefully we'll soak up that when we weld this into place. Okay, so I'm going to tack this at this end here, and then maybe another tack further back, and then I'll kind of square it all up and pull it back, and hopefully she should be good to go. So let's do that. Okay. Okay, so that's that all tacked on, hopefully. Now I'll just kind of, I guess I'll just weld it up, double check my square and then I guess. I think it's all good. Yeah, she looks pretty even. Find out when we bolt it all together and it all looks wonky. Anyway, I'll weld it home. Okay, so I thought I'd cleaned off my steel enough, but obviously not. I think you need to take quite a bit. I was getting a lot of porosity in these welds, and I think it was just like bits of leftover paint in the scratches and stuff like that. And I had to heat up a bit more when I started down here, and GoPro turning itself off just for fun. But yeah, I blew out that thing there, so I'm just going to get the die grinder and just kind of reshape that a little bit. It doesn't really matter now because you're not even really going to be able to see it once that reservoir's in there, so it doesn't matter if it's a true circle or not. So I'll just clean that up and we'll be back in a wee bit. Kind of made that into a different shape. It'll be alright. So I wonder if I should do one more kind of like test fit and make sure it all kind of goes back in and goes back together before I repaint this bracket. Well, I've got to sand it all now, it's all scratched and got burn throughs and all sorts of crap in it. But so let's probably do that, yeah. So now bolt on there. Yeah. Feel good. Okay. That's still going to sit down a little bit more. It's nothing bolted together, it's just kind of sitting there. That should be all good to go, I reckon. Yeah, so it's sitting a little high at the back, but it's still not actually sitting in its thing properly, so by the time it'll push down and screw it into place, it should be good. So yeah, I've just got to sand this all up, reprime it, repaint it. While that's drying, I've got a couple of other things I need to be doing to keep moving ahead. So I'll have a bit of a clean up, then we'll get into, I'll get that sanded up. You don't need to see that, it's just going to be sanding. And yeah, then we'll show you what we can do next. Okay, so got that primed and then had a wee break while the primer dried, and then kind of did a fast dry enamel rattle can job on that. Now it's not perfect, don't get all excited if you see blemishes in it. It is what it is. Most of it's not going to be really that visible anyway, and it's going to be other stuff to take the eye away from it. So next up, I've got to drill out or flush out this thing here. You can see where I welded next to that. That's freaky, eh? The oil came out of the paint. Crazy. Got to drill this, flatten that out and drill that out so I can put that in it. I don't know if I should sort of drill it out a bit first. Drill that kind of welded in thing. You can see, maybe. I don't know. I have a think. Okay, next question is how big of a hole do I need to drill? It's got a little step, and this little, basically that's all that seals it, sort of thing. Once that's in there, I guess I could probably just drill it out to that size around about. The time I'm finished, it's like 18 millimeters, which is about 3/4 of an inch. Now I found my step bits the other week. I lost these and they were in a box of nuts and bolts. That's about 17, so we'll try that, try taking it down to the second one from the end, I reckon, to start with. think I need to flatten that down now. That's the best way. I might be careful with a flat disc. I think we might be alright with that. I don't think I need to take that down really any further. I might just give it a little bit of a block sand, but should be good, I think. Right, clean up. Got filings everywhere. One of the things, I've just been taking the sticker off this thing, but got me thinking, or remembering, that if I'm using this for like the window squirters, like sort of thing, to be honest, I hardly ever use them in the old cars. Kind of got to have them if they're, well, I could have got away with not having them on this car, but I'm going to put them in anyway. If it's trying to draw water out to pump out to the squirters, it needs to have be able to breathe, so it needs a hole in it somewhere to kind of replace the water that's taken out with air. You know, breathe a hole like a gas tank. Because look, it's like, yeah, so it's like sealed. So what I'm thinking is there's the inlet sort of hole that lands in there, sort of thing. Ideally, I think when the hot water is going and it reaches a certain temperature, it kind of like opens that up and lets it through somehow, like magic and stuff. I still like the idea of it sealing pretty good. I don't really know why. I don't think it really matters. But I was thinking of maybe just drilling a couple of small holes through that base plate just so it can breathe out of that hole there, and then I'll leave that little spigoty thing off. I could leave it on, I don't think it really matters. It might just look like something's come off if it's, you know, got a little spigot thing on there, a little bayonet thing, and there's nothing attached to it, but we'll think about that. So what I need is some little drill bits, just drill some little holes kind of tucked in quite close to the thing, through the rubber and through that piece there. The other kind of alternative is sort of just drilling a little breather just somewhere in this, like up high. I'll do that. I'd rather do it through there. I'll give it a try. It won't matter if it doesn't really work, because I'm not trying to seal it. So there we go. I think that's all we need. I might do one more just for good money. Okay, so power steering lines. Now, way back ages ago, I was doing heaps of research on power steering lines for these Mustang 2 front ends that you get through heights. You know, they're a rack and pinion, apparently came out of like Fox body Mustangs and that kind of era, and Thunderbirds, like through to maybe early 90s. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was maybe early 90s or very late 80s for Thunderbirds, and that's the racket choice for these Mustang 2 front ends. Honestly, don't know much about them other than that. So me being the cheapskate that I am, thought I need to do something about power steering lines and whatnot. So I went on and did a bit of homework and found power steering lines on Rock Auto that were for a Thunderbird, and they have the correct fittings on the back. problem is, like the high pressure side especially, is it is a set length obviously designed to fit a Ford Thunderbird, and it ends up being like way too long, and I could have had it cut down and re-crimped and all that kind of stuff, and the return's probably alright, but the middle part of it I had to do some tweaking and bending to try and get it to work and get around things, and it was just getting a little bit hodgepodge. And then, if you remember correctly, or from a while back when we were had the motor out of the old bomb truck, I got a AN style kit to redo the power steering lines on the truck, because I had the old Jag lines all kind of rebent and stuff, and again they were kind of pretty huckery looking, so and they leaked. So I got this kit, and I had a few little bits left over, which got me thinking, why don't I just do AN style on this? Since I've already got half of what I need, just accumulate the other bits and then we should be good to go. And that's kind of what I've been doing and what my plan is. So increasing my shareholding in Aeroflow, I have bought hopefully the correct fittings that I need to go from the rack. These, I think they're the rack ones, and that should be a dash 8. I don't even know if it fits, it's supposed to go in there, orb style. So I've got to put that into there once we get the brackets all back and all dry, and then these will go into the rack, and then I have this much braided line, which is the Teflon line stuff, so it's capable of the high pressure, and then I have a bunch of fittings on these. Now, I did buy some other dash 6 fittings, but I bought the wrong ones. These 90s I think are the wrong ones. What did I do the other ones? I'm sure I bought some more. I just got to go and look through my stuff, because they're not for the Teflon line, they're for the other sort. Maybe I didn't buy them. I hope I did. I'll go and have a look. Okay, so I've hunted high and low and I haven't bought the last 2 fittings that I need. I thought I had. But I did go into the place that I buy these fittings from locally, and I did buy the stuff I needed to finish up the fuel system. That might be what I was thinking of, rather than buying these 2 fittings. Maybe I wasn't 100% sure what I needed. I don't know, but I can kind of get it so far, and then figure out what I need, but I can't do the final plumbing on it today, which is a bit of a bummer. But it does give me an opportunity to ask you guys who may have messed with these Mustang racks and stuff before with a GM Type 2 pump, what kind of fluid do you run? I've been googling the bejeebus out of it, trying to find out what to use. Whether, in the past we always used sort of Dex 3, transmission fluid. All the kind of Mustang forums and Thunderbird forums and stuff talk about Type F, which has not got friction modifiers or something in it, whereas Dex 3 has. Some people say use power steering specific fluid, but then others are saying they had problems with twitchy steering and all sorts of stuff. So I'm a bit stumped on that, to be fair. I'm not 100% sure what I want to use, run in there. Go away, fly. And so let us know down in the comments what you guys have used in the past, if you've had the opportunity to kind of run this kind of mix. And it's not an uncommon mixing a GM pump with this Ford rack, but it's just trying to find out what to use. What does the pump like compared to what does the rack like, and what can I use that they'll both be happy with. I'll get that fly. Yeah, first shot. It's that time of year we get these green bottle bloody blowfly things around this neck of the woods. So anyway, carrying on, I'll show you the difference. This is a fitting for this Teflon lined hose, and it has these little aluminium collars that go inside there. And if you remember when I was doing the power steering on the bomb truck, that's what we used on there. And this is just for normal braided hose, and it's different. It doesn't have, it's got a much longer thread, and it just has that taper in there. So I wouldn't want to risk the high pressure side at the very least with that. So, but before I do any of that, I've got to have a look at something in the pump itself. I can't remember what it's set at, because you have to reduce the flow, the pressure. Yeah, so that's not tight either. That's just as well getting in here. So I've got to take that out. So it's been cut. And there should be a thingamy in there. Maybe I have to take that big thing out. Maybe I will. I'll try taking that out. Okay, loosen this off and then promptly drop the ratchet down underneath the car, so get the rest of it by hand. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's the flow restrictor thingamy. Inside there should be that thing there. And that is what I need to modify. Now there's two parts to this. I can't remember how it works. There's a flow restrictor and then there's a pressure reducer. And this is to do with the pressure. That's right, I've got to drop it down from like 12 or 1300 psi to sort of 8 to 900. And I have a Borgeson kit for that, which I actually bought for the bomb truck. And it is in here. It's that little thing there. So we'll take this over to the bench and we'll have a little gander at it and see what we've got to do. Okay, so this is the Borgeson. I bought this from Summit, I think. It's the pressure chart, yeah, reduction thing. It just kind of tells you how to do it. It's pretty straightforward, and tells you how many shims do what sort of things. Apparently these Mustang racks run about sort of 800 to 900 psi, so I probably should be looking at putting 4 shims in. Have I got 4? These are the little shims. There we are. So I guess that's where we'll start. So there's a little collar thing that you use to hold it in the vise so you don't damage this, because this is a kind of accurate piece of kit. And yeah, so we'll just get into that. Okay, so you use this little collar to kind of be able to kind of purchase, you know, put it on there so you can tighten it in the vise without damaging it. And then we should just be able to undo that, just like so. Just be careful, I'm not sure if there's any springs or anything in this bit, I don't think so. There's a little copper shim there already. I wonder if I should count that as one. We'll take our little shims out of the packet. I think I put some of these in the bomb truck and it didn't make any difference, so I took them back out again. Okay, we've got different sizes here. We've got a thick one. These are all different. Need my spectacles on. These are actually all different, slightly different sizes, I think, looking at them. Or are they? No. So I need to put that one back there. So they get loaded up onto there and we just put it back on. And that's our four shims on there. Job done. So that should reduce our pressure so we don't blow all the seals out of our out of our Mustang rack. So now I've just got to go and put all that back in. And that just goes back in there. There should be a spring in there. Yep, the spring stayed in there. I can feel it. And we get this mamma jamma. I might give that a bit of a clean. That, I think that is the actual flow restrictor thing. I've seen these for sale and they have different length things and different size holes and things like that. I'm not 100% sure how they work. And that just screws back in there. You got to push it in because it's got that spring behind it. Look. Can be a bit tricky to get started. There we go. Right, need my ratchet. Here it is. There's my knees. This doesn't quite fit in here. There's a spark plug in the way. I could pull that spark plug out actually. Ouch. And then this is our, is that 6 or 8? I'm going to have to check this. I'm not sure if it's the right size. This is just an adapter. Alright, that's 6. That is -6 then. So I need something to tighten that up with. Okay, so battery died. So if that is down in there, will that go on with that boot there? I don't think it's gonna actually. So that adapter might not be the right piece for this anyway. So that might be one of the, another piece that I need to go and purchase. Damn it. Maybe I need a banjo style that can go on there. Okay, update. It will actually go on when you take the boot off, but I mean it's sitting right on it, which is not really ideal. So if I'm going to be buying some new fittings, I might as well see if I can get a banjo style, which is a bit more sort of not so sticky outy, that can kind of go down. So I have to replace that piece, that adapter, into the pump. I should start making a list, I think. Then I can go to the shop and buy all the bits that I need. Alright, oh well, I can move ahead, and that way I can formulate a proper list of what I need to get. So I can start by making sure my fittings actually fit in the rack. Yeah, I think that's the high pressure side. Wrong size. Can I do it by hand? Oh, yeah. So they're just little dust caps that came with the rack. So we can get rid of those now, hopefully. Okay, so these are the two adapters, AN adapters. One should be 14mm 1.5 thread, and one should be 16mm by 1.5 thread to -6, according to my calculations. Hopefully I'm right. I wonder if I should get a little bit of something to put on the O-rings that go in there. I'll suss that out when I've got 2 hands back. But the 16mm should be the low pressure side and the 14mm should be the high pressure side. But before I do anything, I need to put a little bit of something on the O-rings on these. See the O-rings, and then test fit them, see that they are going to fit. Okay, so it would appear I kind of guessed semi-correctly, or correctly, as to which fittings I needed. I couldn't really find much in the way of information on the heights site. This return light's a bit more kind of stiff feeling and it's sketching me out, to be honest. I think that's enough. That one, I I think that's it. Yeah, so 14mm by 1.5 -6, 16mm by 1.5. So the 16 is for the return, it's the bigger chunkier one, and the 14 is for the high pressure from the pump to the rack. Yeah, so if you need that information, there it is. But some of the earlier racks, and even in some of the earlier kind of kit racks, are still imperial, and I don't know what they are, imperial sizes. So I did see it written, but I didn't take it in. And yeah, so that's me fittings in there. Now, how's my little bracket doing? Yeah, she's pretty dry. I might be able to put that on soon. That'll be good. So I probably do need to put that on so I can figure out how long to cut my hoses and whether I'll need to buy any more. Alrighty, so I've got my the bracket bolted back on. God, I'm blanking out. And I'm going to put my reservoirs back in. Now this one will have to go in first because I need to access a couple of a screw that I won't be able to access when the other one's in. So it's going to go there. All right. Fitted. Alright, now I've got to suss out this bit of hose here. Alright, so I think I just need to trim a little bit off of this just to get rid of that little kink that I'm getting right there, and we should be all good. I might trim conservatively though to start with. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Alrighty, so I got the wrong AN90 on there just to see how that's going to sit, and that'll be fine. There's a bit of a kind of dog leg on that feed pipe, but that'll be fine as well. Now I got the straight fitting, and that one there, which I think is like 30 degrees, or whether it might be a 45 or something like that. But what I want to do now is figure out what I want down the bottom there, and I'm wondering whether the straights might interfere with the chassis. Yeah, so that's kind of quite close. It would be alright. I went straight on the high pressure. How close is that? It's still pretty close. I might be better off getting another one of these for down the bottom. That way I can have it turn away. Yeah, so I might be better off with a couple of those. How will the two of them sit together though? That's the only problem. The question, I should say. Yeah, and now, next question, have I got enough of this stuff? I think I might actually. And it's going to go to there. It's pretty much a straight shot. And then that leaves me that much. Oh yeah, got heaps. That's cool. Oh, well, that's all good. But yeah, like I was saying, I wonder if I need another one of those ones with a slight angle. It just gets it away from the chassis. It probably looks a little bit more professional. That being said, I'm kind of at a little bit of a standstill when it comes now to my power steering, like plumbing it all up. I thought I had everything to do that this weekend, but must have got my wires crossed with the stuff I bought for the fuel system. Yep, but oh well, best laid plans, they say. But yeah, so I need to decide. So I don't really want a straight then. I can't reuse that there because I can't. Yeah, that'll just go. That doesn't curve straight enough, so I'll need a 90 for here to go straight down for the return, and then I'll need one more of those 45s or 30 degree fittings or whatever it is to bring it back to, well, to come my high pressure, and then that should be it. And then I'll have that spare, one spare straight. Just might as well do me do the one joint that I can do. Oh, that one looks a bit rude. I might trim that back and cut it a little bit further. And just wrapping a little bit of electrical tape around where I'm going to cut them. Make sure I put my cuts in the middle of the tape. Use a zip disc on that. One of these mamma jammers. Okay, that's what you do. So that's as far as I can go with that until next week when I can get some more fittings, hopefully. But I can finish the fuel system. I've got everything for that, I think. So let's get into that. I can put this back in too. I'll do that first. Okay, so I might as well suss out this big ugly yellow wire that I neglected to include in a previous loom. So that's going to have to come, kind of follow the same kind of path, come down under there. Come on. So give it a little bit of slack because I will have to pull that. Oh, I've got it on the wrong side of that pipe, but that'll be alright. So I need to cut that down because that's just going to loop back to this, to that. Hopefully it's not broken now. So I'll just get my nippers. And I can cut that, get that out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so managed to get most of this yellow water squirter pump wire into the loom, and as it was, so I've just kind of added it around the outside, and then just covering this single wire that I couldn't kind of get all the way under into the loom, just to make it black, not bright yellow in the engine bay. Come on, that's it. Right, now I can feed that through. Come on. It can go up underneath. Actually, I should terminate that with a little thingy first. Okay, so I'm going to have to put earth cable onto this as well, because on the car that I had this on, it was all plastic, so it had to have its own earth strap. Anyway, I'll kind of feed this underneath, and then I'll make up a little earth for it, or a ground, as it's known in other parts of the world. Where's it gone? There it is. It's got to come out there so it can loop back into there. So I don't know where I'm going to put an earth to, but I suppose I could probably put it on that screw, nice and short, and that's all earth through there into the body. So, or do I find one, feed it through, and maybe add it to somewhere else? I suppose I could actually. I could just loop one down and bring it up, put it onto there, and that way they're all on the same one, you know? Yeah? Yeah, okay. We'll do that. Okay, so got my power feed wire hooked onto the kind of, I call it the vertical terminal, and my ground comes through and onto that little one there. So I'm just got to test it, see whether it does anything. So set you guys there, keep an eye on it for us. Turn the key, find the switch, push the button. Alright, is there any way to tell which direction it's going? Not sure whether I've got the polarity around the right way or not. I think I have. I think I can feel a slight breeze coming off of there, so we'll leave it at that for now and we'll test it when we've got it plumbed in. Switch that off. Now, make sure they're plugged in proper like, and then hopefully it still fits in here. Oh shit, is it going to fit? It should do. It did before. Oh, might need a little bit of silicone grease on there, I think. Alright, hopefully that helps. Not yet. Beauty. Perfect. So, and those wires can just pull back out there, fall down there. So when I put the actual pipe on it, it'll go from there, and then I'll feed that back through the same way. I've got to put a T in it somewhere to have it go up to the squirters, which are mounted on there, which I've got some. I haven't actually tested them to see if they'll fit. Could do that now, I guess. Where are they? I think they're in this little courier bag here. Some stuff I got from Basis. I got some rubbers for the truck and the 51. Then I've discovered I'd already bought them for the 51 from Chefs of the 40s. So these are the little things I'm after, or that thing there. They're just the one. Yeah, that little mamma jammer there. All I wanted were those two little things there that screw in. Hopefully they fit. See that? Those little things? Hope the camera's going to focus. It's little wee holes in there. And that's me squirters. And this is I got from Basis NZ in New Zealand. These are like a aftermarket for mini BMC sort of stuff, but I need a little screwdriver, little Phillips. So this one's been snapped, so that just unscrews from there. If the screwdriver wasn't, yeah, I need a different screwdriver. That take two. God, it's tight. So I can't remember who it was. One of you guys in the comments was telling me that the squirters were a kind of an option for these this era Chevy. Oh, come on! I'll drop it. Oh yeah, they fit. Whether they work, don't know. I'll do the other side. Yeah, so I was just saying, yeah, apparently this was an option. I think it might have been Mike, another Mike was saying that you had the kind of option, you could go for window washers or not, and if not, these were just capped off with a little screw, whereas underneath the little doohickeys actually there. Okay, one more. Nah, that one looks like it feels a bit looser, that one, but we'll see how it goes. So there, and I just got to get some plumbing for that now. I haven't actually got the pipe, got all the splitters and things like that, the T stuff. I've just got to go and buy some tube for that, run it up under the dash and to that pump. Small parts, I'll put that in there, never to be seen or needed again. Okay, so since we can't finish the power steering, we're going to finish the fuel lines. And I'll show you what the plan is. Oh, I just got to get the bonnet open. Where's the thing? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Right. So, if you remember in the last video, we talked about running the fuel line up here, like that. So, I went and bought one of these, and the adapter, the Orb 8 to Dash 6 adapter that goes in here, and a 180 push lock style AN fitting, which so I'll have to cut this one off. Got plenty of extra there, so I'll just cut this back and attach that push lock onto there, and I'll put the block off into that one and the crossover over the back like we talked about last time, remember? So what should I start with? I don't know, do I need to tighten? What size are they? Is that too big? Oh, that's about right. So I'll tighten that up for a start. Is there an O-ring on there? It doesn't feel terribly kind of like it's O-ringing. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh yeah, now I feel it. I'm doing it with my fingers and not a 9-foot long spanner. Just like that. Right, I need to remove that one. And it's a different size. Perfect. Okay, so I won't remove that just yet. I've got tin snips over here, so I'm going to cut off that push lock. This one. So I'll be able to recycle that if I need it. Yep. Now these are these push lock fittings. Some people reckon you should put a little bit of oil or something on here. I didn't when I did it the first time, but I might try it on this one. Right, a little bit of oil on there and push. Oh, these are amazing how they work. Like that went on super easy, and it's like, nah way, that should not work like that, but it does. And then that can go on there like so, or even down lower. I've got to figure out a clamping system for that yet, so I will P-clamp it or something, maybe to these here. So I just got to figure out where the best place for that is, possibly up high, further away from any heat, you know, that sort of thing. Right, need some more tools. Yeah, I'm reckoning up there, just run it parallel. If I run it down lower, I'm not going to be able to tag in so nicely. Yeah, something like that I reckon. So I'll just go that. Now, yeah. Oh, where did that go? And will that fit through there? That's the next question. No, typical. I have to go and drill out my hose clamps, my P-clamps. Definitely would be easier if the holes were bigger. Yeah, I'll just go and drill these out. Oh, hang on. Okay, so the old simple task of just drilling out those clamps like a here. What are those bolts gone? Turned into a ship fire. Like, got twisted up in the vise and all sorts of crap, and then bolts were too short and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably about 3/4 of an hour later, I got those two clamps on and a sweat is on. to the point now I can't remember what I got to do next. I think, oh yeah, need a couple of those and that, not that, and a little bit of oil, I think. Whew, crikey. But anyway, we're getting there. But it looks alright, I reckon, having it running up alongside it like that. Yeah, could be nicer, more hidden some other way, but either way we're going to have this crossover pipe, so I'd rather have that down the back. So next up, I've got to remove that plug out the back and put it up the front. Take that out of there, put that in right there, pinch, pull that rag out of there, that one over there, a little bit of a pinch up, and then this one over here, and a little pinch, not too much, and a little white, a little white, little white, that on there like so, this one on here like so. What's that? Oh, that's my PCV. Where's my spanner gone? And the crescent like that. Like that. Should be good. Okay, so that's my fuel system run again for the second time, just like my power steering reservoir for the second time. Yeah, that's car building, I guess. I explained it before, and that's what happens when I'm building a car anyway. Sometimes I get it right the first time, sometimes I think I've got it right the first time, and then a year later I realise I haven't. But anyway, hopefully we've got it right now. If not, let me know before I turn the key. So I'll just put the air cleaner back on, just, you know, keep the dust and crap out of it. So that's that done. Oh, my big bright orange doohickey here. It's not going to interfere with my fuel lines, nah. And there we go. That's not so bad, is it? Hey guys, I'm back. Now I've just been down to the hardware store and bought some hose stuff for my squirters. I did have some thinner stuff left over from when I did the Plymouth about 15 years ago, but I don't know what I've done with it. And it wasn't much anyway. It's just this stuff here that I've got is the squirrel is a little bit on the kind of bigger side. I'm not sure whether it's going to be too big for the where it fits up under the dash. We'll give it a try and see how we get on. Okay, I might have to heat this up. Anyway, I got it on up the top there and it feels fairly good. Hopefully. My plan is just to tee off behind the dash here rather than in the firewall. I suppose I could. It's just it'll be a bit neater up under here if I do it up under here. Know what I'm saying? So, I wonder how I can heat that now. I know hot water would probably do it, but I wonder if I can just do a little bit of a cheat heat with the old cigarette lighter. Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll do us. Okay, so now I've got to get a piece going across to the other side. At the top there. Oh, it's coming out over there. Right, go over the other side now. can I make that too? So if you look up in there, you can see that little spouty thing. That's where it's got to plug into. So is that enough? Is that all I need to hold it there? I suppose I could put a zip tie or two around a couple of things. Hopefully that's going to stay on, especially over the other side, because the other side, well, this side's going to have the computer right underneath here, and the other side is going to have something else, all the other electronic stuff. That should be alright. I don't know. I don't know, I'm not sure about that now. Okay, so this is a little bit of a kind of bush mechanic-y type thing I'm about to undertake. I've already done it on the other side and I think it's going to work, so I'll show you what I did. This was the smallest kind of plastic hose I could get at the local hardware. So this is what I'm running, but it's just a little bit, it's 4mm inside diameter, and I really needed 3. So this is my little attack. So I soften it up, and then I'll bring these up over the top. And pull those in tight. I don't think that's going to work as good as I did the other side now. See if we quick soften it without doing the cable ties. Oh, yeah, she's still hot. Cool it off. I'm not sure that it worked as well on this side actually. I might go to the approach I did on the first one, which was 1 cable tie at a time. I'll chuck a little nail in there just to, so I don't pinch it closed completely. Get a bit of heat in it. And then pinch it up super tight. Oh, damn it, not that tight. Okay, I think I've completely ballsed this up now. Why didn't this side work? Might trim it back and start again. Okay, so having another crack at it. Now I'll let it cool off and get a good kind of pressure on there. Got a bit more rubbery feeling once you put a bit of heat into it though, but yeah, we'll see what it does. You can feel the head of the nails having a little bit more trouble getting past those now, so might be alright. Oh well, I'll feed that back up and see what it feels like when I plug it into the doohickey. Alright. Okay, so I got a better feel on the where it's plugged in up underneath I'm not still 100% happy with it, but it is kind of betterish. Now I've just got to plug that in there, so it's freaky how the light travels through it. Whoa, that's out of it. It's like fibre optic. So let's give it a bit of heat. Plug it in there. Push that back through there. Yeah. Okay, sort of tuck up under there for now. Hopefully that doesn't get squished. Now, go back outside. Run that through in the same kind of zone as our wiring and stuff, I think. Where's my nipper things? There they are. Right about there. Just go on there, easy peasy. So that's just plugged in there. Probably could have pulled that a bit tighter, but I don't want it kinking, so that should be all good. Should be enough to test it. First test. Is that leaking? Might be a little bit. Alright, we'll give it a run and see what happens. Turn the key on. Push the button. Whoa. That one worked. Pointed in the wrong direction, but I wonder if I can block that one. Let's see if the other one works. Yep. Okay, so they work. Do they leak? Turn the power off. Just go to the battery. I'm gonna have to get up under the dash and see if I can see anything. Oh, that one was hitting the inside of the roof, and that one was going over the top of the roof. One's for tailgaters, one's for the windscreen. I can't see up here, but I'll stick my hand up. Can't feel anything, but that's alright. Have a look around the other side. She looks, doesn't look like there's any coming out, so that's a win. Other than on the roof. Didn't get entirely what I wanted to do done today, but kind of got some other stuff done and whatnot, but I wanted to get the power steering kind of plumbed and done. I'm sure I bought the fittings for it. I know I spent way too much time trying to research what I needed and trying to figure it out. Kind of thinking maybe I got into the shop and thought, no, I'll leave that for now, I'll finish the fuel system. But then I've been away last weekend, and so it's been, you know, good couple of weeks since I've done anything, and probably even longer since I was buying those bits and pieces, so I can't really remember that accurately what it was I had decided to do or not do. So anyway, I've got a little list. I only need 3 fittings, so I need a 90, 90, like a banjo style fitting to come off the back of the Type 2 pump, and another 45 down at the rack. I've got enough Teflon lined or PTFE lined to do my power steering lines, high pressure and return's just low pressure, I guess. And yeah, but we finished up the fuel lines. Still got to do a bit of work to the fuel tank around the filler thing. I've got to kind of install the filler and build a thing to fill up a hole in the boot floor. And then that's the entire fuel system hopefully done, as long as it doesn't leak. Still got a bit of electrical stuff to do, but I kind of got tired of that. The next kind of wave of that is really just the Holly stuff and the air ride stuff. The air ride stuff, I just don't even know whether the system I've got is going to work, but we can only plug it in and give it a try. But the main, like I've said before, the main car is kind of done. I've still got an interior light to suss out and not have that one anymore, because that's a little bit janky. But I got this one here that I bought. It's a little LED thing. I just got to figure out if it can be mounted up there, and then I can put all this shit away. I'm kind of hesitant to put all the electrical stuff away until I am kind of feel like I'm finished with the electrical, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, squirt is done, and I'm glad those little fittings worked. That was a bit of a guess again, just having a stab at something that I could get local, from a kind of classic. There's a place in Auckland called Basis. They used to be down in the South Island, Basis NZ. They do a lot of like little freaky little things for some early American stuff, mostly British BMC sort of stuff. A lot of weird rubbers and bits and pieces, but strangely enough they had these little windshield squirter things that had this on there, and I studied the pictures on the interweb and thought, will that screw into the Chev thing? And they do, so that's a win. Yeah, but again, few more things ticked off the list of things that have to be done. Pretty happy with the power steering reservoir location now. As long as I don't fill the wrong one up with water, we should be good. Only problem with these aftermarket ones is no dipstick, so it'll be a stick the finger in visual check. As long as there's fluid in there, we should be good, but not too much, so we'll probably fill it to around about there, I guess, once it's all been bled through. And yeah, got to get the right fittings, and I'll put a bit of tape over those just now to keep the dust and crap out. But yeah, oh shit, that just closed on my wiring. Forgot about that. Oh, what's that? Scratches and crack already. I really need to put those sill plates in there. Yeah, like I said, that's where we're going to leave this video. Don't know what I'm going to put on the thumbnail and the description and all of that for this one, but it's been a bit all over the place. So, but for the most part, relocating that power steering reservoir and getting that sort of sorted, so hopefully we can finish that up next time, and that won't take very long, so that won't be a whole video. So the next video might be a little bit all over as well, but I've got to get in here and sort out where that fuel filler is coming through that hole in the floor, and then I don't know, maybe back onto the Holly stuff. But yeah, back home for a bit now anyway, not so much travelling up and down the country for the moment. I do have to go back down the line again in a couple of months, but yeah, so as always, thanks heaps for watching. Kind of putting up for me being all over the place and getting kind of being out of shape and all that kind of stuff, and till next time, take it easy and peace. See you next time.